Okay, I'd like to call today's meeting of the Comox Valley Recreation Commission to order. And I'd like to recognize that we are meeting on the unceded traditional territory of the Comox First Nation. And today in the room, we have Director Hillian, Director Morin, Director Kettler, Director Hamir, Director McCollum, Director Grant, Director Cole Hamilton, myself as chair, Director Swift. I'm standing in for Director or Chair Arbor, who is remaining on Hornby Island today. And on the phone, we have Director Grieve and Jennifer Biden from staff.
We just had someone join us on the phone. Not sure.
Oh, and we just had one more person join us on the phone. Last digits 480. Could you let us know who you are?
Arbor is here, just joined.
Oh, great. Thank you. So Director Arbor coming to us from Hornby Island. Okay, we have no delegations today, and we have our management report for receipt. Thank you. All in favor? Okay, any questions or comments? No, seeing none. Okay, we'll move on to reports. We have changes to the financial assistance for recreation services program, and I will for receipt.
Move it.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay. Thank you. It's passed. I believe we have a report coming to us.
Yes, we have Susan Bullock, Manager of Recreation Programs, is here to provide a presentation and update for the Commission and answer any of your questions before considering the recommendation.
Thank you.
Through the chair, thank you for having me today. I'm here to discuss the Financial Assistance for Recreation Services Program. Thanks. So a bit of background. The CVRD currently provides the PLAY program to CVRD residents that are in need of financial assistance for recreation services. Low-income residents can also currently access the City of Courtenay's RAC program, the Town of Comox's TRIP program, and the Village of Cumberland's FAIR program as well if they live in those member municipalities. The registration process for these programs have been streamlined recently through interagency collaboration, and it was briefly presented at the last commission meeting. The recreation staff from all the municipalities have been working together to develop a more inclusive program that would allow more residents to access the services from each of the recreation departments. So the proposed program changes include one unified form. Right now, there's a different form no matter where, depending where you live. So for all the recreation departments, and they'd have a new program name. So the program name would be LEAP, which stands for Leisure for Everyone Accessibility Program. So no matter what town you live in, that would be the program you apply for. And then there may be some other benefits you receive, but you'd be applying for the LEAP program. As staff are recommending that we're changed to use the Statistics Canada Low Income Measure, the LIM, to determine program eligibility versus the low income cutoff rates, the LICO, which would allow more individuals and families to access the program. And we'll look at a table so you'll see the different rates on the next slide. These changes would also include increasing the number of facility drop-ins permitted for youth age 18 and under to 52 free admissions to drop-in programs at each organization, regardless of which municipality they reside in. Right now, they're eligible for the PLAY program, and if they live in Courtenay, they may be accessible for their programs. So it's a really big increase to have 52 drop-ins for each service. This is beneficial to youth as they may find that programs and services at another recreation facility more appealing. Also, their friends and family members may live and play in that community, so it'd be easier for them. Also, accessibility with regards to transportation, depending on where they go to school and work. Even if they live in Courtenay, it might be easier for them to access the services, say, at Cumberland. And finally, the proposed program would also be for a one-year trial to ensure that it remains economically feasible for each community, and it offers the ability to increase or decrease these services in the future. So using the Statistics Canada LIM to determine program eligibility versus the LICO rates would allow more individuals and families to access the program. So if you take a look, if it's a household of one, there's a difference of an extra $4,000 a person, if it is a single family household, would be able to make and still be able to access the low income family access program. In comparison to a family of 7, they can now make almost another $9,000 a year and still access the program. We currently use the LICO rates to determine eligibility for our PLAY program, and it focuses on the amount of money spent on a family for necessities like housing, food, and clothing, and the rate is set federally. Staff are recommending that the LIM rates are used instead. These rates are set by Statistics Canada, and they identify Canadians whose incomes fall below half of the median of the adjusted income distribution by household. Basically, they're both appropriate measures, but it's defining which one would work better. And in looking at all the different recreation communities or recreation centers on Vancouver Island, the majority of them do use the LICO, but Vancouver uses the LIM, and so do other ones on the mainland. And in looking at it, some of them that still use the LICO, like Oak Bay and West Shore, they actually take that top number and they arbitrarily add a percentage to it, like 15%, to increase it to allow more people to access. So instead, we are looking at, instead of taking an existing number and adding percentage, using the LIM as a standard measure to allow more access to the program. Yeah, and we think that by allowing more people in the present, especially sort of post-COVID, we anticipate there being a demand, and would be looking to try to have as many people access the program that they could use the service. So for this change, we're focusing on youth, and the new LEAP program would be for a one-year trial, and would be for programs and services that start January 1st, 2022. And that just works with the recreation guides when they come out for all the municipalities, and it'll give each municipality an opportunity to bring it forward to their boards, commissions, and councils. The LEAP would focus on improved accessibility through the higher cutoff rates for all, but also increase access to service for youth 18 and plus by being able to access the services from each community, and also increasing the number of drop-ins permitted. Although we had 52, some of the other communities only had 10. Residents would once again apply all on the same form, which would be very helpful and less confusing. And youth would receive a LEAP pass for each municipality, regardless of where they live within the regional district. Youth would also be eligible for any additional benefits from our old programs for things like swimming lessons, day camps, or rock climbing from their town that they live in, or community that they live in. So they could still access our PLAY discounts for registered programs, or the TRIP or RAC programs if they happen to live there. Then eligible applicants that are 19 plus would receive the existing benefits of all the existing programs. So it's a one-year trial to get youth and see if that's successful, and if it's economically feasible, we could look at expanding it in the future to include adults and seniors. Keeping youth physically active and engaged in the community was a priority identified by staff working on the project, as that was sort of the key group we wanted to work with. And just wondering if you have any questions.
Thank you, Susan. Is there anybody with any questions regarding this? Okay, I see Director Hamir.
Thank you, Chair. So first of all, a huge thank you to staff for bringing this together. I think it was a directive that was given by this board many years ago about COVID and all of the things I think slowed everything down. But I'm really glad to see that this is coming forward. Targeting youth, I think, is a really good idea. I hope our partners in the other communities don't feel a huge financial impact if they're going from 10 to 52 weeks. So hopefully that works okay. My only question was around how do youth in the community get to know that this is happening, like that this is available? I noticed just a reference to Comox Valley Family Services. Do you have a list of organizations that you use to disseminate like this, the availability, or what's your communication plan around this?
Through the chair. So we do have a list of all the different agencies. With our play program, we actually have already in place what we call an adjudicator process. So if someone is unable to provide proof of residency, maybe they're homeless and don't have an address, or if they're unable to provide financial records, then they have an adjudicator with it. There's a list of about 20 different agencies that currently are actually helping people fill the applications in and submit them. So that group would be contacted as well. Of course, the information would come out in the recreation guide and things like that. And we also plan to attend community meetings and like youth parent and taught groups as well.
Sure, that sounds great. And I'm assuming also you've got relationships with the school district to get this out as well.
Yes, through chair, the principals also have the ability to sign the adjudicator form for children.
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to recognize Director Cole Hamilton.
Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Susan. I was really very, very pleased to read the report. And I guess there are two things I just wanted to, not questions, just observations. One, I think moving to the LIM rather than the LICO seems like a really wise move in terms of being able to bring more people in the community on board and without using like an arbitrary factor, like just adding 10% across the board. And I've just got a really thick filter. I don't know if you can hear me. I borrowed this from my wife. And the other thing is that just particularly in terms of the number of, I think it's 52 free drop-ins for youth over the course of the year, it just made me think of the experience in Iceland. One of the co-benefits of that was providing much greater access to rec facilities, reduced social problems in the community, reduced youth drinking, and a lot of people attribute to Iceland somehow making it to the 2018 World Cup as also being an outcome of that. So, and it seems like there are many possible benefits from this. So, just thank you for thinking it through so effectively.
Thank you. And I'd like to acknowledge that Sarah Jane Howe from the School District 71 has joined in the conversation via telephone. And I'd like to recognize Director Hilliam.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks very much for the report. Obviously pleased to see this and support us moving forward with it. I'm assuming at some point we'll be publicizing this initiative, announcing it to the community. And I'm mindful that this originated from the initial idea that we wanted to provide a low-income, or sorry, a multi-municipality pass for all residents. And I believe this was seen as a first step to work this out in terms of a low-income process. I also want to acknowledge how patient and diligent staff have been, because I know we've been delayed significantly by the impact of the pandemic. So I appreciate that we've come this far, but it does leave us significantly behind in relation to the original objective. So I'm just wondering if in the advertising and the publicity that we generate to let the community know that this is happening, if we can make reference to the fact that this was seen as a potential precursor to a larger process that would involve a universal pass, hopefully for all residents to make use of all three facilities with one pass.
Through the chair, it has been discussed at my level about that. So what the aim is, and we have some ideas around that, but this is our first sort of go at it. It would have to go to, obviously, once this is approved, if it's approved, it would go to all the other municipalities as well. And then from there, if this is successful, the plan is definitely to take that next step, but that would need to go through everybody's boards and commissions and councils as well.
Yeah, so I do appreciate that. My intent here is really to let the community know that we haven't abandoned the idea of the universal pass. But that this is a first step and that now we would look to work on that possibility without obviously committing to any details of it.
I will definitely keep that in mind and when we get back together with our group, because I would love to see that pass here.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Oh, I see Director Moore.
Great, thank you, Chair. Yeah, just to add to Director Hamir's point about accessing the youth and getting the word out. I'm assuming that probably North Island Distance Education or other distance ed folks are on that list, but those youth would be, not necessarily getting the same information that other youth in school get. And, just with isolation, they're further isolated during COVID. And it would just be good to make some special effort to make sure that youth who are not attending mainstream school get the information as well. Thanks. And I just would add that there are more people accessing distance ed through COVID as well. So thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none, move on to the recommendation. Okay, that the Comox Valley Recreation Committee supports the proposed change to the financial assistance for recreation services program as outlined in the staff report for a one-year trial term starting January 1st, 2022. All those in favor? I believe it was unanimous. Oh, comment from Trustee Howe? Oh, she was just voting, I think.
That's correct. I was just voting.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so it is carried. We have no new business, no media questions, so I'd like to move termination of the meeting. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.